This story is fucking crazy, man. I've watched plenty of true crime drama, fictionalized retellings on TV and in movies and all this shit. This one stands out so much just because of how stressful this entire story is and how absolutely fucking crazy a lot of this shit is. And how all this happened within 10 years, basically. Like all of the main, bigger moments, especially, leading up to Alex Murdaugh killing his wife and son. This is crazy as shit. If you don't know the story of Alex Murdaugh, just check it out. And then even if you don't check it out, this show will give you a very interesting interpretation of it. And it just gives you, like, what I appreciate about the show is it didn't, it feels like it tried to similar to the Zodiac movie that David Fincher made. They tried to, what I assume, they tried to only show the moments where there were witnesses or there was as much truth to what was happening in the scenes as possible. Whereas Ryan Murphy's, monster series, he takes so many liberties, and while I appreciate the like bells and whistles of that, or like the fun of that, it's hard to believe that any of it is real besides the actual events that happen. For example, not to spoil it, but like American Crime Story, for example, which was the other series that Ryan Murphy did. American Crime Story, the Andrew Cunanan one, assassination of Gianni Versace, like, he died. So a lot of this stuff where it's just him by himself or with him with other people that he killed, it's like, how do they know any of this shit happened when they died, right? But what I appreciate about Murdaugh, Death in the Family is pretty much majority, besides, and I'll get into this in a second here, besides the moments where the murders take place. I say moments because they show a couple different interpretations of which I found interesting. But the moments where the murders take place are the only thing that could have been like, they kind of had to like figure that out, how that might have happened, and because I don't think he's confessed. He's maintains his innocence to this day, apparently. But every other scene in the show feels like, okay, at least like there was like they're going off of footage or potentially someone that was a witness in those moments, and I love that so much. If you're gonna tell a story, at least go off of like what people were actually saying, or stay true to it as close as you can. That's my whole thing with it. So this show definitely felt like it at least really it tried very hard to keep everything keep everything within what was happening in the news, what was happening. It was based off the podcast that Mandy Matney made. I'm looking at the info right here. Brittany Snow plays Mandy Matney, and she, I think, was making the podcast and following the story as it was happening. So they did base it off of a lot of, like, I think her research and her, I think her being a journalist, and the fact that they were trying to stay within the reality of the timeline as close as possible. It just felt very close to what it might have been, like for all of the people involved. So let me get into the performances, because Jesus Christ, Patricia Arquette has obviously had an amazing. I was thinking recently, since Boyhood came out, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and she's amazing in that too. Patricia Arquette, it's amazing that, like, since Boyhood, and obviously she won the Oscar that year for that. And she's amazing in that movie, and that movie is just one of my favorites in the world. But it's interesting how, like, she's been in the scene and been doing this for, I think, 30 or almost 35 years. Like, she's definitely been doing movies since the 90s, maybe the 80s, I want to say. She's such a veteran in this, and only in the last decade has she really, skyrocketed as far as she's in fucking everything. She's amazing as always. We don't really need to talk about how good Patricia Arquette is in this, because, in all honesty, Jason Clarke steals the fucking show in the entirety of this series. He steals the fucking show so goddamn well. Patricia Arquette is amazing. It feels like she was just a very easy choice to play the character to really make the just to try to show, like, that human side of Maggie Murdaugh. Which I have to look into the actual story some more, obviously, but if it's true as far as like going off of the show. She played her very nurturing and very trying to like keep the family together, trying to keep everything from going off the rails, and inadvertently probably, enabled some of these things. Obviously, she was trying to get to her beach house basically by the end of the series, and again, all this is going off of what I'm hoping is actual fact. She was trying to separate from him and move out of there and go to a beach house that she had. Obviously, it's much harder for her to go off of that than it is for Jason Clarke to go off of, so it's hard to play the role of a person who's dead, and you have kind of those limited amounts of information or the performance is going to be completely different for someone like that versus Jason Clarke being able to play Alex Murdaugh and him getting all of the trial footage, him getting all of the there's a lot to go off of in that sense. So yeah, Jason Clarke is kind of scary good, kind of crazy good, very reminiscent of like Javier Bardem in the Monsters, the Menendez Brothers season 2 of the Monsters series that Ryan Murphy has done, but where Javier Bardem was extremely scary in that, and then like the father figure who is just like this unpredictable, you don't know what the fuck. They feel so synonymous, like the types of character, those type the as far as the types of people that they were playing. These are all real people. I know, and I have to remind myself of that. And these are all just every performance of a real life person is just an interpretation, but they're both Jason Clarke as Alex Murdaugh is just insanely. He holds so much weight in every scene, or he really just has such a presence as Alex Murdaugh, which I was very fascinated with. I was very scared of him. I was freaked out by him throughout the entire thing. I was freaked out by his just how sick he was. He really leaned into how much of a glutton, drug addict, like alcoholic that this guy was at the time, supposedly, and that like unpredictability of it. Like you just never trust him. Every single scene that I'm watching of him playing Alex Murdaugh, it's like he's so not trustworthy at all, and he's just the sketchiest motherfucker throughout the entire show. Overall, I think that the two actors that played their sons, Johnny Birchtold and I believe the other guy's name is Will Harrison, they really did a good job playing their sons as well. The guy that played Johnny Birchtold, who played Paul, he was so hateable in the beginning. You really fucking can't stand him, and then there are a couple scenes towards the end, like right before his character, right before the shooting happens, where again they try to humanize him. They even say in the beginning of every episode, like, this is just a this is just a fictionalized retelling and doesn't like completely represent these people. And I have friends who don't. I know people who don't like to watch anything like these types of true crime fictionalized stories or whatever, or whatever, dramatized, however you want to word it. They don't like to watch. I have friends who don't like to watch these types of things so that it doesn't like mess with how they look at the real life events that happen. I always look at it as just fun, and it's just actors just doing their thing, and it's just an interesting like what if, or what would it be like to be a fly on the wall. You can never actually be that. Like the only way to actually feel like you were there and experiencing these situations is to watch a fictionalized retelling of it. Because no one's ever there when unless there's, even when there is footage, it's just like different when it's told through some sort of cinematic experience. So anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed how efficiently this was told. What I appreciate about it is that it was very succinct. While they definitely like waited to get to when the murders take place, I thought that was so good because it was a lot of lead up to these quick and just ruthless murders that happen. Like it's just such a heartless, completely like senseless situation. It all happens within, from what I remember, it happens within 10 or 15 minutes or whatever. And everything, the first 6 episodes lead to that. I believe the murders happen in episode 6, and it's just so much chaos leading up to that. And I appreciate that they waited, where I've seen a lot of people like Ryan Murphy. The only reason I bring up Ryan Murphy a lot in this is because he's done so many of these true crime stories as well, or stories about whatever, murder cases, however you want to put it. And his shit is so different. He shows the murder in the first episode usually. He shows the big moments right away, and then kind of lets everything else play out. But what I loved about this one is everything leading up to the murders is the most fascinating part of this story. Is just how legitimately fucking chaotic and stressful it is, and how scary it is. Watching everything leading up to it, I was just freaked out about how do people fucking live this way. What I will never understand about this is I'm just always amazed. I am baffled and in complete shock at how people are okay with living like that, with that fucking stress. And all out of this shit makes me just so scared of trying to make money, because it's a lot of these fucking stories are rich people getting killed, or rich people killing other people. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, do people with money just start to lose their fucking minds when they don't have anything to do or whatever? When they don't that. This is what I'm wondering. It's actually legitimately a scary thing, how unpredictable your neighbors and your friends and your family could be. That's what these shows remind me of. I mean, I trust my family and friends, but every person you meet, it's like this chain of events that can lead to something drastic like that happening. It's scary. It's scary as fuck. This show was just an interesting. It was told so well. In what they did such a good job with was just making sure to get all of the bullet points in, and making sure they got all of the big moments in, while also you really get to know these people by the end of the series. Or at least however the show's interpretation of them is. Maggie and Paul, Paul is such an imperfect guy and such an alcoholic, just fucked up kid, but he's got brutal. It's just the way they got the nature of it is just so grotesque, as fucked up as. From what we've seen, as fucked up as and unhinged and much of a loose cannon as Paul Murdaugh was, I can't imagine the genuine confusion and the horrifying last few seconds of his life was just looking at his dad as his dad fucking shot him in the face with a shotgun. I mean, it's just fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. This story was just depressing as fuck, man. This story was very sad, very stressful. One of the most intriguing things I've ever seen in any true crime drama ever. Extremely. I think it's a lot more well done than the ratings online might say. It's got a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. I think that's fair. It's like to me, it gets a 7.5 and 8 out of 10. I don't like to rate things because that's so pointless. Rating art from a 1 to 10 scale, rating anything from a scale of 1 to 10 is such a stupid fucking thing, because every single there's such a drastic difference between 6 and 7 to me. Oh, Jesus Christ, I fucking said it. Oh my god, I literally I did not even mean to fucking say that. That's how much it's subconscious. I'm not even on social media anymore, and just YouTube and just South Park making fun of that recently. That was a Freudian slip, a literal fucking subconscious thought that just slipped out. But yeah, there's a huge difference between 6 and 7. There's a huge difference between a movie that's a 3 and a movie that's a 5. Like, so I think rating things on a scale in that sense is just so stupid is all. But this show is good. I think it's good. Just to unravel that thought some more, 7.2 is a fair score, but if I were to rate it, I'd give it, I think it's at least an 8. This show is at least, should be in like the top 250 shows, I think, at least because the production is so flawless, and the whole style and the vibe of it. I really appreciated the way that they introduced like the episode titles and the Murdaugh death in the family, just like the title sequence. I'm such a sucker for title sequences, and I wish that they were. Unfortunately, shows as groundbreaking as Breaking Bad with the 2-second theme song. That's like a normal thing now. Like The Bear doesn't have a theme song. Theme songs, I miss them, but this show's theme is very interesting and kind of haunting, and it's just this these subtle images kind of slowly appearing through this liquid background kind of thing. It's just very interesting. The whole style and the whole, it's done with such a I like how it's shot with a very like a lot of it feels kind of desaturated. It captures a lot of what I imagine being in a South Carolina environment would be like. Really, a lot of these types of true crime drama shows, the vibe is really what it is for me. With Ryan Murphy's stuff, I have fun watching that because of the them taking liberties and going, just kind of doing whatever he wants with it. I can appreciate that, but it's hard to take any of it as factual or think that it's real or anything like that. I take Ryan Murphy's, all of his stuff is literally half and half. It's 50%. I'm like, okay, that's probably true, and then the other 50 is all right, this guy is just doing whatever the fuck he wants with this story, kind of thing. What he does with those stories to me is no different than what fucking oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. The guy that made Hamilton. Oh my god, how the fuck did I forget his name? This is how out of touch with the world I am already. Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's how Ryan Murphy's shows feel. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. What he did with Hamilton is what Ryan Murphy does with those stories. So I appreciate that at least this show, Murdaugh, Death in the Family, was it just tried to stay exactly within the timeline of events and whatever the actual news was covering and whatever people were covering on social media and online and all that shit. So, yeah, this show's definitely worth watching. Definitely worth checking it out, and at least, if anything, just to I'm literally gonna watch Murdaugh clips in a second here. I am saying Murdaugh, by the way. I think coincidentally I'm saying the word with a C in the beginning of it right after saying that, but it's interesting. I thought that was interesting that it spelled Murdaugh, but it's Murdaugh. I don't know why. They also call him Alec and Alex. Who knows? I don't know. I guess everyone can just do whatever the hell they want with their names because there's nothing more American than that. But there's also nothing more American than owning a shitload of guns, which is this whole family did, basically. So, yeah, this show literally makes me want to watch a lot of clips right now, and it'll just pique your interest with the actual story. That's how I look at a lot of true crime TV shows and movies in general too. Is I don't look at them as oh, this is really what happened. I look at them as, wow, hey, this got me interested in the actual story. It makes me want to read into it and look it up on Wikipedia and watch clips on YouTube or whatever. I know that's not the same as actually doing the research itself, but it's just fun. I have fun. It's not, these stories aren't fun. These stories are tragic, but what I mean is it's interesting and it's fascinating to go down the rabbit holes that these types of stories can create. I love a good, when I first watched the Zodiac movie, or just started getting into that Zodiac story when I was I don't know, my mid to late 20s. I was just obsessively watching every documentary that had that there was of it, and watching every single just any video talking about it, and it was just it was really interesting seeing this and how this told the story. And now I'm excited to read more about it, and I'm just fascinated by this, because this is a very common story of someone trying to get away with, get out of, like I said earlier, between a rock and a hard place. This guy, Alex Murdaugh, was just clearly in the most fucked up situation, that he dug himself into a hole, and he thought that murdering his wife and his son would, be like a ladder to climb himself out, but it only ended up burying himself deeper into it. So, yeah, definitely worth checking it out. Murdaugh, Death in the Family, solid performances, very good stylistic approach, very fascinating. It did its job of making me interested in the story and making me want to learn more about it. And that's what I think any of these true crime dramas, that's what it's supposed to do. So, yeah, check it out. Thanks for watching.